Top hat, top kill, junk shot, cut and cap. In our fourth story on the countdown, with so many botched attempts at plugging the damn hole, suggestions have now turned from the slightly eccentric to a nuclear option. We're not talking about eliminating filibusters in the Gulf of Mexico. They mean literally nuking the oil well. The idea to use some kind of nuclear explosive to seal off the well and stop the leak. One energy expert, I'd like to see his credentials, telling Bloomberg News all the best scientists consider it plausible. Advocates of nuking the well point to nuclear point to reports of the Soviet Union having successfully used nukes to shut off gas wells on 4 separate occasions in the 60s and the 70s. Just 2 minor differences between the Soviet examples and the current disaster. All the Soviet blasts were done on land and they did not involve oil. No matter, the National Review taking the prospect of nuclear experimentation in the Gulf seriously, citing, quote, Russia's newspaper of record to back up the argument. If the Deepwater Horizon disaster has rendered the mantra of drill, baby, drill of limited rhetorical use, it may eventually come time for another plea, nuke, baby, nuke.
It's not a great idea to put a lot of radiation out in our oceans. I also think you could end up in an uncontrolled situation. Rather than having just one point of leakage, which is this well, you could end up with lots of places leaking.
Nuking an underwater oil well, what could possibly go wrong with that?
What could go right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about radioactive cesium, iodine, strontium being injected into the food chain, and they last for not just decades, but centuries. And when hurricane season comes, all the tar balls could wind up radioactive and landing on people's swimming pools. Can you imagine radioactive oil being spread all over the Gulf states by a hurricane? And it would last, again, for centuries.
Okay.
But the problem is this could open up other fissures, other holes, other gaps. And you have not just one leaking fire hydrant of oil, you have many leaking fire hydrants of oil, all of which have to be capped, all of which have to have a top kill, and we start all over again.